bit more casual, or do you think we should keep like more professional?
I don't mind. All right, guys.
What's happening?
What's happening? Hello, guys. What's going on? And welcome back to our podcast, Wearing My Money. I'm Amelia.
And I'm Hollie.
And in today's episode, we were a bit stuck with what to actually do for this episode, because I feel like we've ticked a lot of boxes and we kind of hit a wall. So if you have any recommendations for the future episodes, let us know.
I think it's particularly hard at this time of year as well because, well, nothing much is going on for me. It really isn't. I've really been like keeping myself to myself. Obviously, you've just been to Dubai.
I've been away.
I just feel like it's been really quiet. Like I don't have a lot to say for myself right now. I don't mind it. I'm just being like an at-home kind of girl these days.
Hermit. Yeah. Well, no, you've actually just told me you're back drinking. So that's made me a very happy girl because she has been so boring. Oh, we love a little boogie and a drink.
There's reasons why.
Yes,
because
I know.
The story I just divulged to you explains why I stay sober.
Definitely. But we have fun when we go drinking.
We do.
And I'm not saying that people who don't drink don't have fun, but
you are really boring.
I do like when you want to have a little drink with me. It's fun. But in today's episode, we thought, as you can see from the title, we would do a kind of an interview with you because you have been very busy with work. Yeah. And do the topic of modelling versus Instagram and kind of talk about the comparison.
I thought this would be interesting for anyone as well that wants to get into the modelling industry, or if you're new to the industry and you kind of want some like tips of how to start, and just even if you're interested in what like kind of really goes on behind the scenes in the modelling industry, because I do feel like it's totally different from content creation. And I feel like sometimes when I say things to you about like where I'm going or where I am, you're just like, what on earth is going on? It's
also, so like some of the locations are just so far out for a shoot, and it's like, what? I actually, even one of my friends in the influence industry, she did something for a hair dyeing company, and they flew her out to Thailand.
Oh wow, that's
nice.
But
it literally looked like she was in a studio.
Oh, how bizarre.
Because I saw it on the advert.
You would think that would be a location.
Yeah, it was just in the studio. So I don't know if the brand's actually out there.
Yeah.
But they flew like 3 girls to Thailand.
Oh wow. But was that for like a content creation kind of job, or like actually modelling?
Like advert.
See, I think that's where the lines are crossed now. Yeah. Which is where, because of Instagram, influencers are being chosen for jobs that predominantly would just be for models.
Yeah, exactly.
Because now they're seen as a talent just as much as a model is.
So interesting, but we're going to get into that. Mm-hmm. But as I am the interviewer and you are the interviewee, I don't know, I'm going to ask a couple of questions. So the first one is, Holes, how did you get into it? Let's start from the beginning. Let's get the story, how you got into modelling.
Okay, I'll set the scene.
Social media.
I'll set the scene. But I'm actually going to do long story short, because I kind of started modelling when I was like 4 years old. And from what I can remember, my mum's friends put me forward to be signed to this modelling agency. They just sent in my pictures, I got signed. So I started doing modelling from like 4 years old. I did things like Laura Ashley, I did like Asda campaigns. You remember that Argos catalogues?
Oh my god, the best thing when it was Christmas.
Did you used to circle everything you wanted?
Oh my god, that was my favourite thing. I probably circled you.
Maybe.
Oh,
I want her as a best friend.
I want her.
No, I used to model for like Barbie when Barbie had clothes and stuff. So yeah, I did just things like that.
Look at you.
And then I don't know, I kind of didn't really enjoy it that much when I was a kid because I had to miss school.
Yeah.
And
it's very serious as well.
Well, the novelty wore off. They tried to make the shoots as fun as they possibly could, but as a kid you do lose interest very quickly. Not much has changed now. Your face was like
honey.
Still the same. But then when I went to university, I was obsessed with models. Like I loved all the Victoria's Secret girls, all the like 90s supermodels, and it's all I wanted to be was a Victoria's Secret model. I mean, way off it. But I knew that I still wanted to get back into modelling, so I got scouted, I think when I was like 19 or something, by my first modelling agency, and it kind of just went from there.
Lovely.
And now it's kind of like, I guess, full-time, part-time.
Yeah. It's amazing with social media, you can have both and they align with each other quite nicely.
But I would say, like, if you want to get into the industry and you don't get stouted like I did, you just apply. Just apply to all the agencies.
I have a fly in my house.
Is that come from me?
I don't know.
I did see it earlier. If you didn't tune into our other podcast, you might not know, I have a slight plant fly infestation in my flat. I think I said I was going to give it another week. The weeks keep rolling by and I refuse to throw my plants away.
I'm like, has a fly follow you? I'll kill it after the show. Okay, let's get into the questions because we have 9 questions to get through.
Yeah.
So the first one is how to break into the model industry. What is your advice? How to go around it? Do you have to have management?
So I think with modelling, you don't have to have management, but I do think you're taken more seriously as a model with management. And especially when you're starting out, I think it's important because you don't know how to negotiate contracts, usage, rights, and anything like that. So you don't want to end up doing a job for free or for like such little money, like a small fee.
Know your worth.
Thinking it's good exposure, and then you end up on a billboard somewhere that you should have been paid thousands for.
Have you ever had that before?
No, I haven't.
Okay, good.
But I've always been agency signed. It's only now that I would do more direct stuff because kind of know a bit more about the industry. But as I said, if you don't get approached by an agency and you're looking to be signed, you kind of have to start with like building a portfolio. And have you heard of all those like con things where there's all these like studios and they like, approach people?
I will do your
portfolio for £1,000.
Strip naked. It is though. It's like in movies.
They just get conned for the money and they don't actually ever get the images and stuff. Yeah. I feel like people are a little bit more clued up now. But I guess if you're aspiring so much to be a model when you get approached like that, it seems so exciting because they're like these people that are out there offering a modelling contract and they're like, yeah, just pay me £1,000 like up front and we'll do all your pictures and then we'll start getting you work, and people like actually fall for it and do it. It's really sad. If you want to get into modelling, start building your portfolio. You can do test shoots for free. There's new aspiring photographers just as much as you'll be an aspiring model, and you can collaborate and they get the images, you get the images, and then you can take those to an agency. And then once you're signed with an agency, they can kind of direct you in the way of like paid test shoots where you will actually pay a photographer, but it will be legit. And it's because often the photos are going to look more professional and those images will then help you get jobs in return. Because it's kind of like our Instagram pages, for example.
I was going to say, would you use an Instagram page now as a portfolio or a helping hand?
But not really, because it's just so different.
Yeah.
Like taking street style shots of like our outfits and stuff is so different from being behind like a professional camera and like knowing how to pose for a client. So you would start building your portfolio, like say you wanted to be a lingerie model, you would do a lingerie test shoot. So that when you wanted to be pitched to a lingerie brand or a lingerie brand are looking for a model, you'd be like, oh, well, look, here's me in my underwear. This is what I can do.
Yeah.
This is what I look like.
I guess the line has blurred, and it's one of the conversations we'll have, like one of the questions. But do you get a lot of modelling jobs through Instagram?
I do now. Yeah, I definitely do.
Because that line is kind of blurred now, for sure, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, definitely. I think there's some modelling jobs that definitely just base it off your portfolio, like your modelling portfolio. But yeah, I think my Instagram definitely helps me get jobs.
For that style of content.
Yeah. And as I said, like, you know, if on Instagram we want to work with a particular brand or like you want to do more interior jobs, you'll organically start posting more interior reels or posts. To try and get that engagement from the brands that you want to work with. It's the same with your portfolio. For example, my portfolio is very commercial, so I might be like, oh, I know that I'll be really suited to like an outdoorsy, like sports brand or yoga brand. So let me go and do a test shoot wearing sports clothes, because then it's kind of like showing clients what you can do. So that's how I'd say to start, and just try every agency, because when I moved agencies I got rejected from so many because they're just like, they'll either have people on their books that are too similar to you or they're not taking on anyone else, they don't feel like they have the clients that would fit you. There's like so many reasons why an agency won't take you on. It isn't always necessarily because you're not a good model or you can't model. It's just there will be an agency that's out there and that's right for you. And sometimes, you know, you have to really like stamp your mark. And
I was going to say, it must be really degrading, but you've just got to remember it's an opinion.
Yeah.
It's such a personal opinion, or like you said, they might have someone similar, so don't let that knock you down.
It's like going for a job interview. Like, think someone in marketing, for example, or someone in recruitment, they would go to so many job interviews and, you know, get turned away all the time until they find the right one for them. I think it's just a lot more personal when it's based off your looks.
Definitely.
Because it's not really something you can change.
No, yeah, and that must be quite hard.
Yeah, but it is a brutal industry, and I would say if you don't have the backbone for it, don't do it, maybe, because
I could not do it.
It is tough.
And also as well, I just rang a bell of I used to always watch Britain's Next Top Model.
I used to love that show.
I think it's still on either Channel 4 or ITV. You can watch all the old ones. Honestly, I used to be obsessed with it. And when I first met you, I thought you went on it.
Really?
Yeah, because I didn't know why. I couldn't remember how I followed you on Instagram, because I followed Hollie before, but I never really saw your stuff come up. But I had you on my Instagram.
Do you know what? I never thought of applying to that, but I should have done.
I wondered. One of my thoughts was, did I follow you because of Britain's Next Top Model?
Oh, that would have been amazing. I remember when Abby Clancy was on it and I loved her on it.
So, the next question is, what types of modelling is there and what do you do?
So, I would say, there's two types of modelling. There's editorial and there's commercial. I was going to say like lingerie, but that kind of falls under the commercial category. Because you kind of had like the page 3 girls and stuff back in the day, but I would say that's like, still commercial. So editorial is usually the taller, really slim girls that walk the runway. It's often very high-end designer, big campaigns like Burberry or Louis Vuitton, things like that. That's an editorial model, or they'll do like an editorial in a magazine. And then you have the commercial girls, which are more like my kind of style, that you don't have to be 5'8" or 5'9". You can be 5'6", 5'7".
Yeah.
Height isn't such a big thing in the commercial world.
I feel like that line has definitely blurred though, because when you do see a lot of campaigns now, like in Vogue and stuff, it's not very, you don't really see many tall, skinny girls unless it's for the catwalk.
Yeah, I think the industry has changed so much since I first started.
Yeah, it's definitely more
inclusive.
Inclusive, for sure.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But that's kind of like the industry standards for, I'd say, both kinds of modelling. And with my modelling, when I say commercial stuff, it'll be, God, we could do any job. Like sometimes they can be really random. I could be modelling for a Hoover one day.
Yeah. Food
stuff,
makeup,
hair. Sometimes I do e-commerce for fashion brands. And it's generally more like smiley. E-commerce is like, you know, when you go on a website and you're shopping for clothes, and the models are wearing the clothes, and it's like, it's just like a conveyor belt of outfit after outfit after outfit, and that's all you do all day.
Wow. I mean, when I film outfits just for Instagram for like, even if it's 5 outfits, that's exhausting.
Imagine doing 30 a day.
Literally. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's like front, sides, back, creative shot, detail.
At least with that though, you have people dressing you, and there's like different roles where, like, I guess with influencing, we are playing that all of the roles.
I think that is the nice thing about modelling jobs, is that I can go and switch off sometimes, because I have everyone else doing
everything for
me.
That's what I wish I just had, someone doing everything for me. That would be beautiful.
So much more efficient.
Oh my God. Okay, so what is the process of getting a job in the modelling industry in comparison to getting an Instagram ad or a TikTok ad?
So, I mean, you've helped me film casting videos before.
Yeah. I've also actually filmed them for Harvey and Ellie. Like, they do acting and stuntmen, so it's quite similar and it's very amusing.
Yeah, you are pretty much a performing monkey, and you just do whatever the casting director wants you to do to get the job. So the initial process is you're with your agency. Your agency will either put you forward for jobs, or a client will reach out to your agency and say, we have this job, can we see your pool of models to see if, you know, one of your girls or guys would fit the role that we're looking for. So then you kind of get shortlisted, and then from the shortlist, they will ask you to do a casting. Sometimes that's in person, sometimes it's at home. I did one recently, and I had to pretend that my corridor was sand dunes, and I had to run my hand along.
We put the music on.
Oh yeah, you have to get into it. You have to really believe that you're there, and you kind of have to leave all your inhibitions out the door. There's no such thing as being embarrassed.
Kind of acting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's acting. Yeah. You have to switch roles, which I think is what's different between being a content creator, you're playing yourself.
Yeah.
Whereas a model, you're playing whatever role you need to play to fit the job.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. You do your audition, and then you submit that, and then you either don't hear anything, which means you haven't got the job, or sometimes you get a call back and you have to go for a second casting, which is usually like in person, and then fingers crossed you get the job.
And is there usually a lot of steps to getting a job? Like, so you did a casting, you filmed yourself, then you go into another interview. Would you go into another one, or is it?
It depends how big the job is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, recently the hair campaign that I did was a big job, and that was just one in-person casting, and that was it. But there's some jobs that is like, call back after call back after call back, and they have a short list of girls, and then they let you know like super last minute, almost like the day before, if you've got the job or not, and your whole life is basically on hold until you know.
Yeah, because when I first met you, when we were like planning holidays and things like that, you were like, I can't book anything, it has to be last minute, because I don't know what is coming. Yeah, and I guess that's like Harvey, my brother, like he can't do any future planning because he might be on a job literally for 6 months. Yeah,
and everything is just so last minute and so chaotic. You have to be really flexible. You have to pretty much be ready at all times, because you never know where you're going to be, and someone might be like, can you send me some Polaroids for this job? And you're like, oh my god, I haven't washed my hair in a week.
You need to get your nails done, your toes done.
Yeah, everything is just,
you have to be
sorted at all times.
Which I guess is kind of nice, because you know you're always ready. Like, you always feel a bit like glam.
Put together.
Yeah. Because I hate a chipped nail or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Horrible.
But yeah, I think the last minute thing is really tough sometimes.
Yeah, I bet.
And rearranging, reorganising things and...
Well, no, I because I get a bit of it sometimes when we're planning to do the podcast or shoot content, which is fine, because luckily my job is very, like doing influence, and is super flexible. Yeah. But it is literally, you're like, I cannot shoot tomorrow because I just got a job come in and I have to go to Bedford. And I'm like, okay. And it's things like that you can't be mad at, because it's like an actual paid job, so I'm not going to turn it down. You like make you turn it down or anything, but it is so last minute.
Yeah, I think it's tough for the people that are on the receiving end of it, because obviously it's like you've made plans with someone and then you've cancelled last minute, and you've kind of left that person in the dirt while you're like, soz hun,
it was like
gotta
when
go.
we went to, I think it was the Cotswolds, wasn't it? Was it New Year's?
Yes.
You got a really last minute job.
No, I think it was the first time we went to the
first
Cotswolds.
time.
I had a last minute job come in, and it was just booked. I just got booking confirmation. It wasn't even like, oh, you're still free for it. I think I'd mentioned I was still free because we hadn't cemented our plans yet. So our plans were still a bit flexible, like in the air. So I said to my agent, I can do that job. I didn't hear from her for like a week. And then the night before, she was like, booking confirmation. And I was like, oh, I'm going to Cotswolds. But it's not just like, sometimes it's big money.
Yeah.
And you're like, it makes a big difference to the month.
Definitely.
So that's sometimes tough.
And it's like, is it worth saying no to a small job? And oh, it's a lot. Okay, next one. Now you've turned the ripe age of the dirty, flirty 30.
For some reason, I'm reminded of this almost every podcast.
What is it like being a model now in comparison to when you started? I guess we could ask this question twice, in a sense of, how do you feel about yourself in this industry? Yeah. But also as well, what is the industry like? So maybe we do the how you feel now you've had like how many years doing modelling?
12.
So in comparison to when you started, like when you were a teenager, like the confidence within yourself, do you have a different approach to it now you're 30?
I definitely feel way more confident. I know what I'm doing now. I know more about like lighting, angles, like everything, like what suits me, what doesn't, even to the point now where I would tell a client, that doesn't look good.
No.
So let's change it and do that.
Yeah.
Whereas when I was younger, I think I was a lot more affected by jobs if I didn't like the way that I looked on the screen.
And you didn't have the confidence to be like,
yeah,
that's okay.
Also, whereas now I kind of just see it as, well, it's a job. If that's the way the client wants me to look and they're happy with it, it doesn't really matter my opinion on it, because it's not going on my Instagram. It's not for my channel. It's for them. So I'd say confidence is a big thing. I've definitely got way more confident as I've got older. And just to have a bit more of a backbone about things and kind of like stand up for myself a lot more, because I think when you're younger in the industry, you can be walked over a little bit.
Yeah, definitely, because you're like, I need this job, I want this job. Like, this is going to be big for your, I guess, your portfolio.
And not saying how you feel, or if someone makes you feel uncomfortable or upsets you, you don't want to say anything. Whereas now, I think I've kind of developed a way of like saying things if I'm bothered by something on a shoot.
Definitely.
Without it seeming like, oh, she's being difficult.
Yeah.
Although you are always kind of seen as being difficult when you're the model.
Yeah, I bet. But you're a mannequin at the end of the day, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're like a puppet.
Yeah. That's another thing. You have to be prepared to just be touched.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, I bet.
At all times.
And stripped.
Yeah. It's just like they'll move you to wherever they need you. They'll lift your arm up, You're going to be having your makeup touched up all day, things prodded in your eyes,
and also as
hair
well, like,
pulled out.
Not how your usual makeup would be done, because I, honestly, if someone does my makeup, I look like a complete different person. I don't get why, but I look like, even actually when you came to the LTK event, you had your makeup done, you looked so different. But it's because you didn't do your makeup, or someone who's, I guess, obviously does it so lovely, but just did it
in a different way.
Oh my god, it changes your face. I
know.
So, because they did a short wing, didn't they? And I was like, there's something different about your face. I don't know what it is, but it's so interesting. And that's, I think, as well, with me, I just couldn't do it. I mean, I'm not designed to be a model, but for someone to do my makeup and then I have to do it and have the confidence to just...
It's a really big thing to overcome. Oh, did you get it?
No.
Still trying to get this flair. Quite got the technique like I have. I've been doing it for a few months now. Yeah, that's a really big thing to overcome, is looking different from how you're used to looking, and you just kind of have to get on with it and own it and be confident with your new look.
And but I guess that can follow nicely on to the next question, is how has the industry changed from when you started to now? Because I guess maybe when you were younger, this is just kind of me looking at the model industry, there was such a specific look 12 years ago, and now it's so inclusive and everyone's very more natural and very like, there's no much Photoshop anymore and looking too skinny or like overweight. Or
I've been on so many jobs recently where they're like no retouching, and kind of, maybe this is controversial, I'm not that here for it.
Yeah.
I'm here for the like not changing the way someone looks completely. For example, mascara ads.
Yeah.
I think it's really bad when you see one of the like old school mascara ads and it's quite obviously CGI eyelashes.
Yeah.
That I think is bad, because I think it's misleading the product.
Exactly, yeah.
But I do, however, feel like as a model, I want to be retouched a little bit.
Yeah.
I do, like, retouch the darkness under my eyes. Yeah. Maybe smooth my skin slightly. Because that could be
just one day. Like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if there was a spot on your chin, like...
Yeah, I'm like, please retouch, because it's not normally there.
No.
And I know it's like, well, it's showing real skin. But I'm like, that's going to be out there forever. And I'm not going to have that spot forever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe controversial. But I do feel like I want to be retouched a little bit on a modelling job.
I get that, but I like, even with on my Instagram, I know I have control, and I can happily be honest about it. I like remove spots. I remove things in the background. Yeah. If there's hair, get rid of that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I love to give myself a little bit of a tan.
I
do. Yeah.
I never tried that before.
Yeah. It's just a little tan, maybe smooth the skin. But I've never done the
like body contour or anything.
No,
I think that's really bad. See, that's where I think like if you're really manipulating the way that someone looks, that's when I don't agree with retouching.
Yeah.
But I do think like sometimes the lighting needs a little bit of help, like a bit of post-production, you know? I think it should still be a thing, and they don't really do that so much anymore. I also think in terms of the way the industry's moved and it being like more inclusive, I do think that's great, because I think there's a lot of much less pressure
to look a certain way.
You're seeing less like eating disorders within the industry now, because the industry standard isn't so like teeny tiny. More so maybe in the commercial side of things, I think slowly maybe coming into editorial a little bit. But yeah, another thing I noticed is how the lines between a content creator and a model are now blurred.
Massively.
So I've noticed that a lot of content creators are being used as models, because I think the industry is looking for more like real people, which I also, maybe another controversial opinion, but I'm like, why aren't models considered real people? We are still real people.
Yeah, I guess it's that, I think a content creator and an influencer, that whatever name you want to put it, they are kind of the middle ground of a model and a celebrity.
Yeah.
So people use celebrities because you recognise that person and you have more of a relationship with that person. And I guess a content creator is that kind of in between, isn't it? So people go, oh, that's Hollie. Like, they know it's you.
Yeah, but I guess you're more attainable because you're not a celebrity. That's a very good point.
And it's like, they're a bit more real as well. I feel like people will see, not all content creators and not obviously all celebrities, but I think content creators are kind of like the reality, the real version of a celebrity, even though celebrities are real, but celebrities are like aliens in comparison to the normal person. And then the content creator is
the middle ground.
Well,
they definitely sell a product.
Yeah.
They're very good at selling the product to the audience, which is another reason why I think companies are using content creators now more so than models, because it's like, well, 2 for 1. You get the model and you get the content creator to sell the products. But then what I think a lot of brands don't realize is when I'm not saying this is every content creator and every model and every brand, this isn't like a generic thing, but I think sometimes brands use content creators for a campaign or something, but that content creator doesn't necessarily know how to be behind a camera in that aspect. No. They're great for creating their own content, but being behind a camera on a modelling job and being behind my iPhone camera or my vlogging camera is so different.
I couldn't imagine doing it. Like, I don't think I'd be very good in front of a camera.
Because being a content creator, you're used to directing yourself and having control over everything. Whereas modelling, you don't. You can't tell a photographer, that's not my angle, don't do that.
No,
because it's offensive. Like, that's the photographer's job.
But then I guess as well, I guess it depends on the production of the photo shoot, if it is with a content creator, because if it's about them, the photo shoot would have to align with
exactly
the content creator to make it work. It's a bit.
Yeah. But as a model, you just have to keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
It's like
you're a
kind of
mannequin.
It's kind of like rude to be seen like trying to take control or tell other people how to do their jobs. It's like, no, you stand in front of the camera and you do that, and everyone else does their thing. And I think that's where a lot of conflict also happens on modelling jobs.
Yeah. Okay, so obviously with being a little bit older, wondering, do you get more jobs now in comparison to what you did when you were younger?
So I actually have a lot of friends in the industry that say that they get their best work or their most work when they turn 30.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what it is, and I have to say this year so far has been
you've done
pretty
very well.
good.
Do you think it's because the industry when you were younger, when you're a younger teenager, it's more diluted?
Potentially.
Because everyone wants to be a model.
I think maybe you have a point there. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it's like the confidence thing. I think there's a lot of commercial work for older girls. Us in our 30s. I think there's just a huge area in the market for that. Yeah. Because I think women in their 30s, we sell a lot. We sell a lot of stuff. compared to younger girls, because it's like, well, I don't know.
They don't really buy it, their parents buy it. Yeah, that's so true.
Also, you know, I don't look 30, so
oh no,
it's like kind of irrelevant
exactly,
anyway.
Honey. And body image wise, like, do you have more confidence now, or?
I do have more confidence now. I was definitely slimmer in my early 20s, but I actually feel more confident with my body now because I know how to work with my body. But I definitely think it's tough. You're pretty much standing naked for everyone to judge every single part of your body. And it's not like, oh, I'm a bit insecure about this, like, don't look at that, or like, can we hide that? It's just like, no, go.
And with body imagery, do you feel like there's obviously less pressure to be so skinny now? Like, it used to be there was one size and that was it. If you weren't a size 0, you weren't making the cut.
I think it has changed, I think more body shapes are accepted now, but there is still, all sample sizes are a size 8.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of either that like size 8 or 6, or you're a curve.
I was going to say, does the curve model exist anymore?
It does, yeah. There's definitely still like plus size modelling.
Yeah.
And I think that's from size like 14.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's still a huge thing. But I think if you're like maybe a size 10, 12,
you
don't really know where you fit within that. So you're either size 8 sample size, or size 6, or you're a size like 14 to 16 for the plus size.
Wow, that's good. The sample size is a size 8, because I thought it'd be like a size 4.
I think it used to be. I think in high fashion, it definitely
still is. Yeah.
But with commercial modelling, like when you see all the e-commerce stuff, it's always a size 8 or size small. Like if you read on websites, it will always tell you what size the model's wearing. And it will be like, oh, Hollie's wearing a size small, or Hollie's wearing a size 8.
Which I think is so handy.
Yeah.
It's interesting because when I've been watching the like London, all the fashion weeks, to be fair, like Paris and Milan, stuff like that, you do have some of the brands like Dolce & Gabbana, I think Valentino as well, use influencers on the runway.
Oh, do they?
Because you have like, who was it? There was a TikTok boy who was on, I think, the Dolce & Gabbana one recently.
Was he ginger?
No, dark hair.
Oh, I don't know.
He's German, and he's like one of those, like, you know, it's a group of boys, German boys, and they're really like, it's quite very cringy, like so cringy. But they've done like very well for themselves. I can't remember what they're called. But there's a group of these guys, and they've boomed. They're literally just booming. And I think they've actually brought out a song now as well. But yeah, one of the guys, he always wanted to be a model, and now through his success in being a TikToker, he is now a model.
I think that's amazing that you can start your career through social media now, because that was never an option when I started.
Yeah. But it is for quite a lot of things. Like when I hear about, if you want to get into fashion and not just modelling or influencing, if you want to be like in journalism and things like that, they do say start a social media account.
It's incredible the platform that it's created and the endless opportunities that social media has created for people now.
And it's just getting bigger and bigger. Yeah. It's quite scary.
Yeah.
Okay, to continue on to that, has social media changed the modelling industry?
Yes, it definitely has. Yeah. Because with modelling, I feel like before, a model was a model. That was it. It was very simple. Whereas now, I think we're bridging the gap between content creators and models. And I guess when I first started, and I think a lot of models probably felt like this, it was kind of like, why is that content creator getting my job? Like, I'm the model, I should be getting that job. It's almost felt like another industry was like stealing our jobs.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, but they're not a model.
I think I feel your pain with the sense of like, I could see that in journalism as well. Yeah. Because we were taking their jobs as well. Yeah. And they were like, what are you doing?
Yeah. There's this like new career that is like taking over that can morph into all these different job roles. Yeah. And it's just like
they've taken 10 jobs.
Yeah. I think it's so clever.
And just put it into one person.
It's genius.
Yeah.
absolutely genius.
But then again, has it changed the amount of jobs you've got?
I think it's got me more jobs, but maybe that's because rather than fighting it, I joined it.
Yeah.
I joined the movement.
Because you've had a lot of influence in more, you've created content for social media now, for brands.
Yeah.
Not for your channel, but for their usage.
Yeah. Because I think that they know that I can adapt into their brand as well. Whereas I think if you're solely a content creator, that's your style, that's what you have. And so it would maybe be more difficult for someone like you to be sent clothes that are so off your style and create content. Whereas I guess because I'm bridging the gap between, well, I can create these videos, but I'm also a model, so you can put me in whatever you want and I'll do it.
They're not paying you to post it.
Yeah.
They're just paying for them to create the content.
But then I also I don't know if it's bad, because then am I taking away other people's jobs by doing that? Because traditionally those kind of things would be shot in a studio and you would have a photographer, a hair and a makeup artist, a stylist, and now it's like, oh, I can do all of those jobs for you at home.
Because also as well, this is the controversial one as well, but because you'd get also, depending on the brand, but you would, I'm presuming, like what I've experienced with content being used just purposely for their social media, I'd get a lower rate.
Yeah.
So then I've taken an influencer's job because I've accepted a lower rate because it's not for my portfolio, it's just for them.
Yeah.
So you've taken two sides of the industry's jobs, but it's so interesting. But there's so many ways to go around it. It's just madness, isn't it?
I feel like it's just such a savage industry now that it's just like,
beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah. And if you can't beat us, join us, honeys, because it's it's an amazing industry to be in. Yeah. But it's definitely changed because of social media.
100%. To me, I always see modelling as like this glamorous, on a photo shoot, the food is like avocado on toast and you're getting your nails done, you're getting shipped here, there and everywhere. But is it all glitz and glam?
80% of the time, no. You maybe get these one-off jobs where you are treated like a queen and everything is amazing and the food is good, accommodation is good, the shoot just goes swimmingly and you're like, I cannot believe this is what I'm shooting today. For example, the other week I had a job for a spa hotel. It was like a beautiful 5-star hotel and I stayed in the accommodation. I ate all the food.
Stunning.
And my job was sit on the sun lounger, have a swim in the pool, eat some afternoon tea, and I was like, this is just fantastic, so easy and such a great job. And then on the other hand, you get some jobs, like the big jobs are usually the worst kind of ones because there's just so many people on the team. It's such a big production and there's so much going on. And, you don't really know when you're going to eat. You don't really have a choice that much of what you eat. It's just kind of like whatever the catering service is. And there's a lot of waiting around.
I was going to say, there was a job where you were literally there for how many hours a day?
Between 10 and 12 hours a day. And I would say I was on set for about maybe an hour in total for the whole day. And the rest of the day, you kind of just sit in a little room and you just wait and wait and wait until someone's like, okay, we need you on set. And then you go. Wow. It's great because you can get on with other work. Yeah. But it's also like quite soul destroying sitting around and waiting for so long.
Because I guess there's so much work you can actually do. There's not that much you can do. Yeah. Because you can't really get into it because you're just being picked up and...
Yeah. And the accommodation isn't always great. Sometimes you're staying in not very nice hotels.
The cheapest ones.
Yeah. And you're travelling a lot. Sometimes they ask you to go like basically to the other side of England and you just have to catch a train and get there yourself and you just turn up in the middle of nowhere, try and get a taxi, get to this random hotel. You're meeting new people every day.
So they won't organise that for you?
No. I think agencies should, but often they don't.
And do you have to pay for your travel for that? Wow.
But they reimburse you.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But you usually have to... Sometimes jobs will pay up front, but usually it's kind of just easier to book it all yourself because you kind of know, like, when you want to go and what times and stuff.
And is that just, like... So if you had a job in London, would they pay for your travel?
No. So
just
outside of London.
Outside London.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Wow, it's a lot. It's like being an actress.
It's not always that glamorous. And, you know, like, sometimes you're on set and you have 30 eyes just looking at you, judging, analysing. So and your mind can go crazy. Yeah. Because you think, like, oh, God, they're all talking about me and what's he saying? Oh, my God, did I just hear that she said I was fat? You know, like, your mind will, like, make stuff up as well. And it's a lot to take on, I think, mentally, because you don't know what these people are thinking about you.
Oh, wow. It is, that must be so, you have to be like an actress and be so comfortable and confident.
Yeah.
And just not care what, like, one of the things with some, like, acting, one thing I'm like, how can you do that? Is that when they have to have sex?
Yeah.
Or pretend to have sex? I'm like, you've probably got 50 people in that room watching you. And I was just like, I don't know if I do that.
But you just switch it on as like a role. Yeah. I remember I had to kiss a guy in a casting once, like full on snog tongues, everything, and he had kissed like several other girls prior to me.
What, on the same day?
Yeah. In the same like half an hour.
God, he had a great time.
He did have a fantastic time. What a lucky guy. But that I wasn't expecting. And then they were just like, oh, we want to see if there's like a connection. Can you kiss? And you just kind of like, okay. And you just do it.
Wow. Have you ever dated anyone in the industry?
I have, yes.
Would you date someone in the industry again?
Absolutely not. Never. Never again. Like, I'm not saying that like male models
like that,
are bad. I personally just wouldn't want to date someone again in the same industry as me.
I wouldn't want to date another influencer.
Yeah. It's just not my personal preference.
You want to escape from it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and they do love themselves.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You can't be in a relationship with two people that love themselves.
No.
Only one of them can. The other one, you have to have one that wants to be in the limelight and the other one that doesn't want to be in the limelight.
You have to.
So the one that's not is just your cheerleader and they're like, go honey, go.
Yeah.
And you're just lapping up the limelight. It's just not going to work when both of you want to be in the limelight.
No. I mean, obviously there are some couples that it does work for, but I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I think I'm not that, if a guy's more obsessed with himself than I am with it, and I'm not that obsessed with myself, like I'm not like very vain or very like, I'm amazing, but obviously I'm in front of a camera and it is, my business is all about me, so I guess that's kind of like a nod to it. But yeah, I couldn't go out with someone if they were obsessed with themselves.
Yeah. I think I just picked a particularly bad one.
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah.
But have you like, okay, so except from that person, what about, have you been on a job and like had a fling with someone?
No, I've definitely flirted because male models are hot. Like, I love a little flirt.
But that's hard sometimes. You're like, hello.
Yeah, but I have to kiss you.
Okay.
I'm generally just not attracted to them. I can appreciate they're good looking.
You kind of block it off.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just not really my thing. It's not my type now. Yeah, I can appreciate they're good looking, and I'm like, you're really nice to look at, and we'll have a flirt because you know it passes the day.
Yeah.
But no, I've never like slept with a model on the job or anything like that.
Yeah. Interesting.
Have you ever like had any experiences with models?
No. I have. With one.
Oh my God, tell me everything.
I'll tell you after. Obviously, I know you've been in the industry for 12 years, but what is like a highlight?
I think highlights are always like seeing your work and being proud of it.
Yeah.
So I remember being outside the Face Gym stores once.
Aww.
And I remember really loving how I looked on that. I was really proud of it.
Which Face Gym was it?
So it was one on King's Road.
Oh my God. Because I was going to say, it must be really weird, like if you saw yourself and it was something that you walk past.
Yeah.
Like I've seen you in Sheer Luxe with the glaze hair.
Yes.
And I was like, that's Hollie. Like, because I read Sheer Luxe all the time and it was so weird seeing you on there.
Aww.
I was like, hi friend.
Yeah, it's nice to see you pop up in random places. And that was also shown on the Face Gyms in New York. So I remember I had a friend in New York that sent me that and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then most recently I was on a billboard in Times Square. That was kind of cool.
That was really cool.
Not to brag too much about it, but yeah.
I wanted to ask, my cousin was here in England when that happened, and I was so gutted because I was going to be like, film it.
It's actually going to be shown on Oxford Circus as well,
God.
I think next Monday. So I'm going to go and see it.
Ooh,
yeah.
What time?
I think it's like on the underground. I don't know, like I think it's like the whole day or like for a week or something.
I'll come with you.
Okay.
I want to be a proud mum.
Yay.
We should go to Devonshire after.
Oh my God, yes, let's celebrate.
Just for a Guinness.
Yes, celebrate with a Guinness. Never had a Guinness in my life.
I just want to be there. I really still want to go. It's hard to get into.
Yeah, I would say that's really nice. And then I have like a few other kind of campaigns floating about like in stores and stuff like that. And
is it more like
fun.
a proud thing when it's like a brand that you like with your like personality in real life that you align with and you're like,
definitely.
Oh my God.
It's nice to be proud of things that you've done. Because I think a lot of the time with modelling, it's like you go, you do the job, you probably never see it.
Yeah.
Or you're just a bit like, oh, that was a random one, or that was a bit weird. But whatever, it's just money at the end of the day. So yeah, it's really nice to land those campaigns that, like you said, you're like proud of doing and that align with you.
Aww. New York City, honey.
Ooh, New York City, baby.
So in Piccadilly, on Piccadilly Square.
Oxford Circus.
Where on Oxford Circus?
I don't know. I think it's in the tube station or something, or as you come out of the tube station somewhere. Wow.
Because in New York it was on the big TV and stuff, so that's why I thought Piccadilly.
Really cool. Well, potentially.
Yeah.
I'll have to double check.
Yeah.
We'll go for a little one. Walk
we'll
around.
post it on the Instagram.
Yeah. On the Instagram.
The Instagram. Oh, that sound old. So that is the end of the Q&A with the model.
Well, I hope you enjoy the little insight into the industry.
Yeah, because I feel like it's an industry, obviously we speak a lot about Instagram and influencing, and we never actually have spoken about the modelling
and if you guys have any questions or you want any tips, any advice on anything to do with the industry, if you're like an aspiring model or a new model, God, there's so many more opportunities for new models out there now to get yourself out there.
Which I think is amazing.
Yeah, and there's all these like placements that girls do that I never did and I wish I did. It's like when you go abroad for months at a time and you go to all these different countries and you get signed with different agencies in different countries.
Because you were thinking about doing that at one point, weren't you?
Yeah, so I got signed in Bali and Cape Town.
Yeah.
And Bali I was meant to go back, but then lockdown happened.
Yeah.
And then Cape Town I got signed to an agency out there a couple of years ago. But I kind of feel like I got to the point in my career now where I make more money in London than I do abroad. Yeah. But I feel like doing abroad placements when you're younger is such a fantastic opportunity to build your portfolio.
And such an experience.
Yeah. And to get yourself out there.
Yeah. If you do have any more questions for Hollie, then definitely check out her Instagram. If you don't already, we'll leave it all down below so you can directly message her and give her a little message to be like, help, what do I do?
Yeah. I'll give you all the advice that I know.
I feel like I'm really out of tune. I feel like we haven't done a podcast in a very long time.
No.
But anyway, we're going to end that here because actually we've spoken for an hour. We didn't think we'd actually have much to talk about, but I think we always do. Yeah, literally. But if you have any other recommendations or requests when it comes to what podcasts to film, then please let us know because we love to hear what you guys think. And
even like any advice that you want.
Yeah.
For anything, fashion-based.
Beauty.
Relationship. Yeah. Not that I should be giving relationship advice.
Neither.
But, it's fun.
We'll try our best. We're just two little girls.
I'm just a girl.
I'm just
that
a
makes
girl.
bad decisions.
But anyway, thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Everything will be linked down below, whatever we've spoken about, including our social media pages. And thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already, please subscribe. That would be really supportive. And we do have some guests that we are really intending to get on very soon.
Yeah.
We've been so busy.
We need to get our act together, guys.
We do
life just takes over. There's just so much going on. There's just not enough of us.
I think we've been on a roll and then we hit a wall and now we're back on it. We need to get back on it now.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you so much for watching, listening, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye bye.